All right. Now, an additional document that you guys will do is a treatment encounter note, or what we refer to as a TEN, or TEN. It's also referred to as a daily note, but those are going to be done in the daily activity log because it's coupled with your billing. So I'm going to go into the daily activity log for today. And then because we added Andrea a little bit before training here, she's not immediately going to be in my list, so I'm going to use my More Patients item at the bottom here. That allows me to search through all the patients, and I can search by first or last. And we're going to bring Andrea's name up, check it off, and click OK, and now she's going to be available in my list. So now that she's in my list, I'm going to click Add Encounter on the right-hand side, which is going to take us into our treatment log. You'll see all the CPT codes that we entered into the plan, and we'll go ahead and do our normal billing for each code. Okay. Once we enter in our minutes, then if we need to do a treatment encounter note, we can access the note by clicking the Add Note button at the top right corner or selecting the Treatment Encounter Note tab here at the top of the screen. And there is an Add Note link that is available. As we select that link or click the Add Note button, it's going to publish the note on the screen, and it starts with the Frequently Occurring Services section. You'll see all the CPT codes in the plan, and then you could document what occurred during the encounter. And you could go ahead and type in that information. Just free typing, or we do have builders. So if you want to run through those, just have a whole bunch of phrases and options that are available. So you could go through and take a look at what we offer and then make any kind of selections that you need. When you're done, you can simply click OK and then add to that, of course, if you needed to. As you go through that, there's another section here. So we'll click the Next button at the top or the bottom of the note. And you'll see that we have an additional services and summary area, which is a big subjective objective box, and you can free type in the additional text that you need. Now with that note, just like any other document, we need to complete it. And the completed check mark is in an odd area. It's at the top right corner, whereas all the other documents, it's at the bottom left. And if somebody forgets to mark it complete, as we click our OK options to save the billing in the note, we will immediately prompt and ask if you would like to mark the document complete. So there's a little safety net there if you forget, but we definitely want to make sure that they're completed so that we can sign on the document and the charges. If you have an incomplete note, we're going to wait until that note is complete before we'll allow you to sign off on the charges. Okay, so we could see the information, we can review it. We have a little note icon in the status column, and at the top right corner here, the little note emblem indicating a completed note. And you could do that for any patient that you're doing billing on. Once we do the save and close to close that module, you know that the e-signature option always opens. And we do have the treatment encounter tab that will default to. And this is where the user can review the patient name, the date of service, all the service codes, including duration of minutes and units that were billed, as well as we're going to provide a link to view the treatment encounter note, and that's over here on the right-hand side. Clicking on that link will open up a preview of that treatment encounter note so that, again, we have the ability to review everything before we apply our signature, and that will display the details. Now, as you're looking at previews of the documents, if they're unsigned or incomplete, we will have watermarks on those documents to notify the user. But just making sure that we have the correct information. These notes will display patient information, data service, all the billing that was provided on the codes, and then the details of the note. If everything looks good, then we can close the preview using the X at the top of the tab, and we can check off that item, and we can work down the list. Now again, if we have treatment encounter notes that are listed as incomplete, we will not allow the user to sign on the billing, and so those will be identified in red bold text. So Tom here has a note that is incomplete, and we are not going to allow the user to sign off on the billing until that note is listed as completed. Okay. Once we click our save options at the bottom here, we'll read our attestation statements, apply our signature to the billing and the note at the same time, and then click e-sign. Since we're in here, I do want to mention there is a clinical documents tab. Clicking on this tab allows you to see any additional documents that you identified you did not want to sign at the time that you completed them, they'll be available here in this clinical documents area, so you can see the date the document was completed, patient name and discipline, date range, types of therapy applied to the document, as well as the document type, the clinician's as well as the supervisor's name if available, and then the view document link on the right provides the ability to review that document before applying the signature. So always good to review the documents, making sure we have all the information that we need before we sign on something, because of course we might not have those rights to unlock and make those changes later. If you don't have those unlock rights and you do need to make changes, then you have to speak with the rehab director or manager for assistance. So we would review the document, make sure everything's in there, make sure we updated all the details, and then of course if everything looks good, we can check off the item, and you'll just work through your list to review everything. And just like before, we'll click our save options to review our attestation statements and apply our signature by typing in the password we used to log into Rehab Optima and click e-sign. Okay. Now, as you close the e-signature module, remember if we do see that there is an unsigned document for the treatment encounter note, it will ask you if you want to go back to that daily activity log and make the change and go ahead and sign it. So we could say yes. It's going to take us back to the daily activity log, and again we'll see those incomplete notes here in red, and we could use the open options on the right hand side in order to get back into that treatment log in the encounter area to review, make sure we have all the information in our note that we need. Okay, put in whatever details and then make sure that we complete them so that we can sign. Okay, so just a little safety net there just to mention that we want to make sure that we're signing the notes, and if not, then it's just going to sit in there until we do. All those notes will be with our other documents in the case manager under the corresponding therapy track. You'll see the treatment encounter note listed here. And because you're doing those on a daily basis, sometimes you might want to print them all at one time. So when you use the print option here in the document area, this will allow you to print multiple treatment encounter notes. So it's available. If you want to print them on separate pages, you have an option for that. And then once you click print, it'll pull up the preview, and of course you have the options to print along the top of the toolbar. And these will all be signed, so you'll have your signature lines there ready for you to review, and again, print using the printer options at the top.